Hello, everyone, and welcome to the April 2021 episode of the NBA's new video program, All Around Newtown. I'm your host, Matt Peters, and today on All Around Newtown, we're going to take a look at one of Newtown's most historic businesses and the NBA's recently awarded Business of the Year, the Temperance House. So we'll be doing an on-site visit with their owner, Kathy, and she'll be taking us on a tour and telling us a little bit about the history of the building and also some of the more interesting facts you may not have known about it. So if you'd like to get right to that, skip ahead about a minute or two. I'm going to go over some NBA announcements for Newtown Business Association members now. So what we'll do is we'll go over the upcoming events for the NBA. So we have the April breakfast meeting on Thursday, April 22nd from 7:30 a.m. until 9 a.m. Sponsor of that event will be Insurance Shops and All Seasons Comfort Control. And the speaker will be Ben Falekia, and he'll be talking about the state of the restaurant and hospitality industry. Then we have our Emerging Leaders Happy Hour, which will be on Thursday, May 6th from 5 p.m. until 6:30 p.m. And the speaker and the presenter of that event will be Guru's Indian Cuisine. And the NBA will encourage all of you to invite some of the younger members of your business to check that out. Then we have, after that, we have the next business card exchange. That will be Wednesday, May 12th from 5 until 7 p.m. The sponsor of that event will be Oasis Senior Advisors. And the next All Around Newtown video will premiere on May 20th at 11 a.m. on Facebook. And that will feature Myra Rosner from Club Pilates. With all of these All Around Newtown videos, they do premiere live on Facebook at 11 a.m. third Thursday of the month. But then after that, they're shared out onto Instagram on the NBA's IGTV page and also their YouTube page as well. And then from there, we also share them out to LinkedIn and to other social media websites as well. So we encourage you to do the same and to share this video out and to send it to someone or include it in your email or post it to a Facebook group or post it to your business Facebook page or your personal Facebook page. And at the very least, give the video a like, give it a comment, interact with it, so that way you can show the NBA that you support All Around Newtown and you support these local businesses. And today the business that we'll be featuring is the Temperance House. So in one moment, we'll get right to that. One more announcement to make. It's a save the date announcement. June 20th is the NBA's Father's Day car cruise event. And that starts at 2 p.m. on June 20th. The car cruise will travel all throughout Newtown, and it will feature a lot of classic cars. It'll be kind of like in the style of what it was last year. Instead of having them on one central location, it'll be a car cruise, so that way it's better with the social distancing. So the registration for the cars and the sponsorship, which is available to all NBA members, that's all open online right now. So you could go to the NBA's website, newtownba.org, and register for that. We also have wanted to remind you of the NBA's Business School podcasts that are put on by Rodney Warner. You could find those on Anchor, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And lastly, the text reminders from the NBA. I've mentioned that a couple times on these videos. You can text NBA to the number 844-574-6291. And by doing so, you'll then get text reminders and updates from the NBA about upcoming events and about new promotions and other great things that they'll be offering to you as a member. So without any further ado, let's get on over to North State Street in the borough of Newtown, and let's take a look at the Temperance House. All right, let's go.
Hi, my name is Kathy Busick. I'm the proprietor of the historic Newtown Temperance House. I want to thank the MBA for for acknowledging the history that we have here, and also acknowledging all the hard work that we've done along with everybody else in this entire world to get through this last crazy year. But I appreciate the acknowledgement and recognizing our hard work. Right now where I stand is actually where George Washington held his meetings with his generals before he crossed the Delaware for the Battle of Trenton. I don't know if any of you know that, but yeah, we are doing that here or he used to do this in our dining room, so come visit it. Behind us is the original hearth. It's actually where they cooked every day, except when it got too hot, they would go into the basement, and the same exact setup and that would be their summer kitchen. So this was their winter kitchen. A lot of people always ask me, how did the Temperance House get its name? Back in the day, the Quakers, and still now today we can recognize that the Quakers actually made the Pennsylvania state laws. And back then, they only issued a certain amount of liquor license, kind of what we kind of adhere to today. It's getting a little looser, but back then they decided absolutely not going to add any more liquor license. So what they did is made an amendment, and to that amendment, they basically had said if you sell alcohol without a license, you need to call it yourself a temperance. And since this was already a schoolhouse at one point in time, I think even during that time, they had called it the Temperance House. So temperance, actually, everybody thinks that it's in like abstinence, but it's actually in moderation. So as long as you were able, as long as we sold alcohol back then in moderation, then it was legal to sell. So the Underground Railroad, as I understand it, and I believe I'm correct to a point, is, for the most part, slaves were basically trying to be freed from the South, going up all the way to the North, and when they hit like Canada, they were free. Their destination spot was pretty much the Niagara Falls. So during this movement, Temperance House was the Niagara at the Temperance, which actually winded up becoming a safe word to know that it was a safe house to stop out along your travels. So we're in our dining room, and when you look around, you can actually see what's said to have been an original Edward Hicks mural. He used the Temperance House as his muse. He did a lot of his paintings and drawings and thinkings here. It's one of his, spots to go, as you might say. And as you look around, there's a lot of that history in Newtown, and again, you can have a piece of that just when you're having dinner, looking at that also. In 1986, Carol Nagel, which is a descendant of his, came in and restored all his original works in here. So it's priceless to sit here and watch and see the history. So if you're sitting in here having dinner and you want to get up and browse around, as you go towards the bathrooms, there's the original stone walls there. If you look closely, you'll be able to find little horsehair actually just pops out. To a blind eye, you would never see it, but when you do look, it actually does pop out. What my understanding is they would use that to more or less use it as a binding for the wall. So if you're ever passing by, look at that, and you can see a piece of history there. As you're standing there, you'll actually notice that it does look like it would be an outdoor enclosed porch. Well, that is true. It used to actually be the front of the house, where the back of the house actually would be State Street, which actually was not the main street at that time. It would actually have been Court Street was the main street. So as we pass through here, leaving the wall, we go into the bar area. This actually used to be a street running in between the two buildings. So on the right side, I had mentioned that it was a schoolhouse and a bourbon bar. It actually was a oysters and ice cream spot at one point in time too. So when Court Street, if you dig down just a little bit, said to have been like maybe a foot or so, you would actually find oyster shucks of oyster shells, and that used to line the road. So the street here used to divide the two different buildings. On the left side here, what's the hotel, is said to have been from 1819. The ironic part about this street is it divided two different worlds. This side they used to actually house slaves, where I had mentioned previously that this side actually had the Underground Railroad. So they were actually freeing them and they were housing them. So this little, we would probably call an alleyway, but they called a road at the time, separated the two different worlds. So I know I talked a lot about the history here, so I want to kind of touch about our history that we were not realizing we were making, all of us, with the 2020. We all have our own story of our struggles. But our struggle here, we basically tried to turn into a negative into a positive. And what I mean by that is, days before we were shut down, there was scheduled an event here for Love for Life. We were expected to have, within our town here, the borough, 1,700 people kind of passing through. So as you can imagine, having 1,700 people, along with St. Patty's Day, just about 2 or 3 days behind that, we had a plethora amount of food. Prepared, first of all, and second of all, obviously hoping to sell and give back to that charity. So with that said, with the shutdown was a big blow. It was a big loss. But again, instead of focusing on the negative, what we tried to do is focus on a positive and gave away that food. And that's actually what started the first responders program. Everybody wanted to help, and that's what basically kept that program going. So when I ran out of food, people were asking to buy more meals for individuals. People from everywhere were coming around and, just sending donations, dropping off even food, because we did food drives throughout the whole entire time. We did learn that local food pantry was pretty hard up on food, to be honest. And with all the donations that kept coming in here, we were hitting them, and they were like, whoa, we have a great amount now. So we just hit the next one, and we actually wound up hitting, I believe it was Doylestown, Pendle, and also Feasterville. Well, I wanted to thank you all for spending some time with me today and learning about the history of the Temperance House. Don't forget to come in and get a personal tour. Also would love to thank the NBA for this awesome award. I appreciate it. It's much appreciated, but not necessary. But thank you. I also, with getting this, I also just received in the mail the other day, 5 days ago or so, recognition from Brian Fitzpatrick because of this award. So thank you both, and thank you all, honestly. I know we're all struggling and going through things, but if you need an escape or a friendly history tour, come stop by the Temperance House. We would love to see you.